Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Bobby's Business Club, the chat show. Today we have another one of our amazing members. She's been a great friend of mine. She's supported me through all the businesses. She's a whiz at networking in insurance and also contracts, which she's helped me with in the past. And she's going to be presenting to us, and it's going to be about when it comes to insurance, fear is temporary, regret is forever. Really excited to hear more about this. Polina, Kesov from AA Insurance, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you, Bobby. Super excited to share my knowledge with you. I guess, I could talk on for hours, but I thought I'll really focus on the fact that clients, whether they're individuals or businesses, get fearful when it comes to insurance premiums. We all get renewals sent to us in the mail, or we go and get a new policy, and we always think, how much is it going to cost us? But really, is the cost so important? Well, it is for a business and for an individual because, we all have our cash flow that we need to, manage. But if you were to not insure a particular risk, whether it's your house, your car, your business, or anything else, the list is quite long, and something bad happened, you could be in the world of pain because you might not be able to afford replacing what is lost, stolen, damaged. And people often think of cars when they think of car insurance, of insurance overall. They think, oh, I drive a car, I'm on the road, I need to be insured, partially because we have our compulsory insurances that we need to get for cars, but also comprehensive ones. And people always think, oh, what's the access? Because, we are raised with that. We know from a certain age, we get a license, we drive a car, we need insurance. When it comes to home, people also think, oh, well, what if it rains? What if something bad happens? What if there's a fire and my home goes? I need to insure that. But very rarely do people think, I've got a business and I need to make sure that my business is protected, which is sometimes it's because of fear of how much it's going to cost. And a lot of times it's thinking, I'm really good at what I do. Do I really need insurance? And the answer is yes, and not because I'm an insurance professional, but because I have seen people being in regret forever. And hence the reason for today's topic is when it comes to insurance, fear is temporary because, brokers such as myself can help you to remove that fear, but the regret can be forever. I love talking cases that I've seen or claim scenarios, as we call them, because that really brings it home and makes you feel, oh, what if it happened to me? So I'll give you an example. I'm a huge advocate for cyber insurance. We run businesses from our offices, but we tend to run our businesses from home a lot these days because the world has changed, and we've realized that we can actually manage most businesses from anywhere. However, did we think that we need to put certain policies and procedures in place to make sure that cyber attacks don't happen? Probably not, because it all happened very fast, that change in our lives. And we also forgot to ask our staff, have they got antivirus on their computers, or do they lock little devices that they back up their data to, if they still do that? Or if we're using clouds, are they cloud secure? So we've all forgotten to do that, and slowly businesses are doing that more and more. The reason why I'm an advocate for cyber insurance is because I've seen people hurting really badly. So recently I was on the call with a gentleman. He is not my client, but he had insurance policies through a different broker who offered them cyber insurance. The cost of the insurance was around $1,200 for a year. So wouldn't have broken his bank account because he actually runs a very successful manufacturing business. He was looking at buying a piece of equipment from China and have it shipped to Australia. He's been negotiating with the supplier for about a month on price and some of the specs for what he was ordering. And they pretty much reached an outcome, but they were still in discussion. He knew they were still in discussion. He got an email in the middle of his night, which was not very common for the supplier to email him at that time of the night, that said, if you pay today, we can discount the price by $10,000. So the original price was 80,000. He thought, okay, well, that's a big saving. I wonder why they're doing that, but I'm not going to argue. There were bank account in the body of the email, and he got all excited. It was written in a way that the supplier would write to him normally, like the language, the tone of the message. So he sent the money through internet transfer. So it was BSB, an account number, sent it off, went back to sleep really happy. Woke up in the morning, had a bit of that fear moment. I didn't get a remittance. Normally, if they got the money from me, they would send me some form of remittance. So went into his emailed the supplier saying, hey, never got a remittance from you. Have you received my money? They've contacted him and said, what are you talking about? We're not sending you any remittance because we never actually asked you for money yet. And we haven't sent you any bank account details. So you wouldn't have been able to pay us. He started looking through the email, and the only difference was a little dot in the email address. Otherwise, it looked identical. The reason why he was having this conversation with me is he had a question. If I had cyber insurance, would the insurer pay? Would I get my money back? Because he couldn't get his money back through the bank because he sent that money out of his own desire. They didn't force him to do that. He went to the police. They said they couldn't help because they had no jurisdiction over where that email would have come from. It's a long investigation. They took his report and, I don't know if it went anywhere, but at the time we were speaking, it wasn't going anywhere. He didn't have cyber insurance because he even pulled out an email where he wrote to his broker and said, I'm not spending $1,200 on cyber. Nothing was going to happen to me. I'm a manufacturer. What could go wrong? But it did. So the short answer is possibly if he had cyber insurance, it would have been paid. The reason why I say possibly is because there's other conditions that come into play. Things like he should have called the supplier to verify the bank account details, shouldn't have just paid. There's a few processes and procedures that insurers request for you to have in order to make sure that you're compliant with the policy that you're getting, and then cyber insurer would have paid if everything was ticked off. So he could have spent $1,200, have proper processes in place that the insurer would have told him what they are, and he would have implemented it for himself and his business. And then if this terrible incident occurred, he could have got that money back through the insurance policy. So at the end of the day, that's a regret he'll have forever, in my opinion. What are the problems we see? A lot of people that possibly watching this segment are in a business where we give advice, such as myself. I'm an insurance broker. I give advice all day, every day. If my advice was negligent in any way, and as a result of it, a client suffered and they decided to sue my company, the only insurance policy that I could call upon is professional indemnity insurance. I cannot stress out enough how important it is to get that type of insurance if you are giving advice to your clients. And by the way, the advice does not need to be written only. It can be a verbal advice as well. Sometimes, and that happens a lot actually, so it's not really sometimes, we can give advice and it's a correct advice, but it's misused or misunderstood. Doesn't mean that you can't be pursued by a client. And then having that policy in place would mean that the insurer can defend you if there was a claim that has been lodged against you. So professional indemnity is really important if you're in an advice type of business, and have a really good think about, do you give advice to your clients? How do you word that advice? Do the clients listen to you and then implement it for whatever they need in their businesses? We do a lot of public liability insurance policies. Really important policy to have if you are client facing or facing any third party. So anyone that has come to see you or you went to see them for the purposes of your business, and if somehow they got injured or you've damaged their property, public liability is the insurance that can be used if there's ever a claim against you. For example, one of our clients is a real estate agent. One of his agents went to do an open inspection for a tenant, and she accidentally damaged an antique lamp that was in the hallway. She just, was walking past, had her bag on her shoulder, didn't realize, and bang, next minute the lamp is on the floor. It was a really expensive lamp, not to mention that you can't really repay the emotional stress that the property owner suffered, but they wanted to repair it if it was possible, or at least replace it with something similar. I think from memory, it was around $15,000. And all our client had to pay is the excess, which was $500. And it all happened very quickly. The claim was managed very smoothly and easily. And yes, there was an upset property owner, but because everything was managed so well, they were happy to still give the real estate agent the go to rent out their property and not being so upset. And to our client, like I said, it was only $500 rather than writing a check for a large sum of money. So public liability is super important. Also, if you're producing a product, public liability has a product liability aspect. And that means that if something was to go wrong, somebody would have suffered an allergic reaction or any sort of damage to themselves, and they decided to lodge a claim against you, it still goes under the public liability. So we had a claim a couple of years ago. I've never forgotten that. There was a kindergarten party, and kindergarten teachers were, creating a nice atmosphere for the kids, and they were blowing up balloons with the, special helium gas, and something failed in the machine. It blew up, and it actually damaged a child's eye. So it was actually claimed on the public liability of my client, who was the supplier of all the equipment for that party. And then they could go and possibly claim against from the manufacturer of their machine. But at the end of the day, that's how the claim was managed. And it was actually because the child was really young, and they calculate the entitlements up until the age of 18. It was over $1 million in claims. So again, costed our client, I think from memory, it was $600 excess. It is a very long process to get that type of claim finalized, but our client was happy. They've paid the excess. They moved on managing their business. We took care of the claim, and there was no issues afterwards. And the parents of the child got the settlement, and from what we know, there was very minor surgery that was required with no further problems, but at least they had that money if that child needed the further medical care. So my examples could be endless, because in many years, 17 years of business, and many years in the insurance industry, I've seen many interesting things and lots of scary things. But at the moment in Australia, for example, we're managing a lot of water damage claims for commercial premises as well as residential premises, because we've got so much rain happening this year. And it's a real shame when clients ring up and their policies have lapsed because they haven't paid or they forgot to take up the cover, and they have to repair things themselves and cost tens of thousands of dollars. Or we see clients that have insurance policies in place, they ring up, they notify us, we get all the paperwork, we make the process nice, simple, easy for them. Insurer organizes repairs, or they can use their own. They go out, they fix the damage, and when the next rain comes, there's no issue. So, even on that personal front, it's really important, because you just never know what's going to happen. These days, anything can happen, as we've discovered in the last few years. So insurance is something that you can be fearful of. Premiums can be something that you can be fearful of, but you don't want to regret losing your business because you can't afford to pay somebody out if they've made a claim on you and you didn't have a policy in place. And I always say to clients, it's the way to help you sleep better at night. And as business owners, we need to sleep really well so we can be really alert during the day. And insurance is one way of making that happen. But because I'm a broker, I want to stress out one thing. A lot of clients misunderstand that brokers actually side with clients. We don't side with insurers. It doesn't matter for us which insurance company you pick to have your policy with. because we don't get any overrides, we don't get any special privileges. We do get special rates for our clients for putting volume of business through particular insurers, and we pass on that discounts to our clients to make sure that the premiums are affordable. But we always side with clients. Nothing makes me personally more excited when the client gets a policy that's affordable, that has a low excess, knowing that they can afford it if there is a claim, that all the conditions that the client needs are met, that the client understands what they bought. They don't just buy a piece of paper. They know, okay, if I've got public liability, it's specific for my business. If I run a photography business, like Bobby does, for example, that when he's gonna go out and see his clients take beautiful photos, he knows he's got public liability, and he knows if all of a sudden one of his clients trips and falls on his equipment, he doesn't necessarily need to jump under them and catch them. He knows if something happens, there's a policy in place, and it's for a good limit. It could be $10 million, it could be $20 million. So it's a nice sum if something bad happens. And also as a broker, we manage all claims. So all you have to do is tell us that something happened. Or if you got a letter from the third party demanding money from you or demanding anything as a result of you possibly causing some damage or doing something wrong, just send it to us. We take care of absolutely everything. We make sure that you've got no headache. We get your side of the story, and usually that's done by filling out one claim form, and we take care of the rest. Where we can, we involve if there's a real estate agent involved, or if there's a property manager involved, or if there's some third party that we can reach out for you and save you that time doing it, we will do it. For us, it's important that claims get paid within the scope of the policy that you've purchased. There are times when insurers decline claims, and there's a big misinformation, in my opinion, out there in the world that insurers don't pay. Yes, they don't pay if it's outside of the policy condition that you've purchased. So I'll give you an example. I went to my favorite restaurant and I was talking to the restaurant owner, and he said, oh, I should get you to do my insurance because I hate the insurance company that I'm with because they didn't pay my claim. And I said, why didn't they pay your claim? He said, well, my fridge had a fusion damage, and I lodged the claim. I needed $10,000 to replace that fridge for my restaurant, and they just declined it, and they said, go away, but I've been paying my insurance for 20 years. What a waste of money. We hear these conversations a lot. So I said to him, why don't you send me your policy? I'll have a look. If something in your policy that you can go back to the insurer and point out, I'll help you. But I want to see why is it that they haven't paid it. Well, when he sent me his policy, he's never insured his fridges. The only cover that he had was for the public liability, nothing else. So I told him, and he said, oh, actually it says fridges not covered. That's true. I never realized that. He then said to me, well, because I go to an insurer direct, no one ever pointed it out to me. Why not? And I said, because the insurer doesn't have to. They're not your agent. If you came to us or to another broker, it doesn't have to be us, we would have said, okay, don't just get public liability, which is crucially important, consider this other thing. So then we started talking and things like business interruption. I said, what if your business burned down, accidentally, or somebody burned it down deliberately? What would you do? He said, my livelihood would be gone because my whole family relies on me running a business. I said, well, you don't have that section, for example. So that means if there's a fire and it takes you, 3-5 months to rebuild your restaurant, you're missing out on your income. If you only selected that section, it would have costed you a little bit of money, nothing, significant. The insurer would have paid while you're rebuilding. And of course, he was pretty excited to know that and learn. And he said that, if he knew that, he would have got all those sections 20 years ago, but he didn't. So now he knows better and gets that. So lots of things do happen, but at the end of the day, just a few things to remember. Broker does all the legwork for you. We check with all the insurers on our panel to make sure that we can get you competitive cover and that it's exactly for your industry. We see a lot of it. People get cover off internet. They select a close enough occupation, but it's not specific to what they do, then they go to put a claim in and the insurer doesn't pay because that's not the occupation they're in. Brokers take care of it. We make sure that we specifically state what is it that you do, and we pre-agree with insurers that they cover that particular risk. It's crucial. We look for low excess if we can to make sure that that helps you if there is a claim. We explain and educate our clients so that they can be sure they're covered. We also do regular reviews and keep in touch with our clients. We've got a few touch points throughout the year because businesses evolve, our lives evolve. That means things change. Sometimes they go the other way. Our businesses could decrease. That means we may not need as much cover. We can get a bit of a refund. Or certain things get sold and clients forget to tell their brokers, but they might be entitled to a refund. So if that happens, we're more than happy to send that refund to you. Just need to tell us. So we do a lot of this type of adjustments. Or what we see a lot of, clients start new businesses. They're really excited about that. They don't have employees. Then their businesses go really well. They grow. They start getting people in. They change their business operation slightly. They forget to tell the insurance brokers or the insurers. And then we only get to find out when we finally talk to them at renewal. So in my business, for example, we have touch points where we do regular reviews to make sure that we stay on top of our clients' businesses and we work with them and help them grow. I get really excited, and I've seen that in 17 years of business, when somebody starts small as a one person in the business, and then they become a global company. And we can still be on that journey with them, and we help them to align their policies with that growth and help them. And if the company is registered and domiciled in Australia, we can usually write the insurance policies even when they're overseas, if they desire that, or we have arrangements with others overseas that we can help them. So if you're in business, reach out to an insurance broker. You don't have an insurance broker, I'll be more than happy to be your go-to. Ask questions. Ask a lot of questions so that you can be highly educated and know what you're actually purchasing, because there's no better good knowing that everything in your business is protected. If you've got an office manager, get them involved so that they understand it as well. So it's not just relying on you knowing what insurance policies you've got. And when the renewals come up, they can help you with, corresponding with us as well. If you live in a home, or if you've got an investment property, you've got cars, motorbikes, any type of insurable assets, let us know. If you've got expensive items, we all have our precious things like jewelry, bags, golf clubs, cameras, have that insured. Insure your phones, insure your iPads, things that you use for work and outside of work. If you're going traveling, and I'm so excited that we're all starting to travel a bit more, get an insurance policy, get a policy that has COVID cover included. Yes, insurers are giving this to clients now. There's some limitations, but if you know what limitations are, you work around it and you know what you've got to do if you're overseas and you need to reach out to your insurer. Again, a broker is your best person to speak to because we can guide you and we can also give you a comparison between products we offer. So you're not just given one price, we can give you a whole comparison. And what we see a lot of, particularly at the moment, is startups. There's a lot of startups at the moment because people need to change the way that they have their life. They're looking for other income sources. If you don't know what insurance policies you need, ask us. We will tell you. Not only are we going to tell you, we're going to give you a whole report that tells you what you need, why you need it, explaining every section, and we can also price it for you. So I always say to clients, start with what you need now and what you can afford, but have it as your business plan of what else is available, and let's build on it as your business grows. So we work very closely with insurers. There's new products that come out quite often these days. They adjust them based on the client's needs. We can create new products for clients for newer industries, and we've done that quite successfully. for a number of industries in Australia. We, take great pride in that because there's no industry that can't be insured. The only insurance policies we don't do are for industries that are unethical. So, if something to do with guns or drugs or explosives, we don't play in that space. Doesn't mean we don't know somebody that does. So we can still help and can direct clients. So basically, to eliminate any fear, talk to your brokers. Don't have to buy a policy from us. Just get educated. It's worth picking up the phone, sending a note through a website or on an email, LinkedIn, whichever platform, and we'll help out. That's all from me today. I know a lot about different types of policies, and hopefully I can continue educating on specific products, but I thought an overview was super important. Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you, Polina. Before we wrap it up, can you give us a bit of a background of IIA and the team, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. So 17 years ago, I was working for an insurer, a large global insurer, and my business partner used to work with me, and then he went off to work for a largest broking house in the world as well. And one day we've decided, hey, we should start a business. And we've registered our company, and it was just the two of us. We rented an office. We waited for things to happen, and they did. Our first client is still our client today, and then they've referred us to somebody else, and that all kind of went from there. Our focus is business insurance, has always been, but we believe that every business owner is an individual and they need to protect their personal assets as well. So we look after their personal stuff. So because our first client then referred us to another client, it made me realize referral is the best way of building a business. So we started building our business from just talking to people and saying, are you insured? Do you need insurance? Do you know somebody that needs insurance? And just from that word of mouth, here we are 17 years on. 2 years into our business, we hired our first employee. She was doing admin assistant work for us. It was very unsettling for me personally because I didn't know how much I can offload to her. And I kept saying, oh, if I do it myself, it'll be better. If I do it myself, it'll be better. Very quickly, I realized that the more I've delegated, the more my business grew. We run a lovely team of, we set up for 10, and we have brokers, we have admin assistants, we've got some external providers that help us, like with recruitment, with bookkeeping, with accounting. We're just about to get somebody to do our social media through one of our lovely viewers here today, and that made me realize over the years, the right team members bring the right vibe to the business and bring the right clients. And I can honestly say that we're blessed because we get new clients every day. Our renewal rate is really high. It's still around 94, 95%. And I believe it's because we want to know our clients. We want to be friends with our clients. We want to see our clients succeed and grow. And we take that very personal approach. We write all lines of insurance. The only line of insurance we don't write is health insurance. Apart from that, we can help with everything. We write a lot of hard to place risks. So if you've got a business, and it might be just an idea for now, but you want to turn it into a business. A lot of times insurers may say, oh, we don't want to touch it. We don't know what it is. Well, we can try to make it happen because we can sit down with the insurers and create a product for you. We write a lot of policies through Lloyd's of London. So we got, sick cover abroad as well through the underwriting agencies in Australia. So I can honestly say, I don't believe there has been anything that we couldn't insure as long as it was affordable for clients. And yeah, we take pride in making sure that it's something that clients can keep for many years in their business. But if there's a better product that comes out 12 months on, we change them to that if it's better for the client. So for me, client number one, and then my relationship with insurers and underwriters is number two, which is also really important. But the whole business and all my staff know are based on referrals networking and word of mouth. If it wasn't for networking like Bobby's Business Club and others, my business wouldn't be where it is today.
And whilst we're on the subject, you may as well talk about the networking directory. Tell us more about it.
Sure. So because I'm so into networking, collaboration, helping people, connecting people, I started a networking group directory. It's a free directory for professionals. I didn't know where it was going to take me. I still don't know to 100%, but what I do know is that new members are joining every day. I'm hearing members having amazing conversations, amazing experiences. They're getting really value for creating that free profile on a directory. You can rate services. So for example, I've used Bobby's services numerous times. So I'm able to go in, write a review, do the rating. So then somebody else comes along, they go, oh, Polina used Bobby's services. Let me check with Polina. What was it like? Maybe there's some things that I need to know, how I communicate my needs. And that's what networking is all about. We all help one another. So the plans are to keep growing the directory, keep helping different professionals, getting to know one another, and actually having meaningful conversations that are not all about sales, but all about not being lonely in business. And being able to just pick up the phone and go, if it's an insurance question, I'll ring Polina because she's part of my community. So that's how it was born. It'll only go from strengths to strengths. And we're constantly listening to members of what is it that they want. And we're starting, Bobby does wonderful events for us virtually. We're starting to do some face-to-face events at the moment, just locally in Sydney, but it will go to other cities as well. But that's what it's all about. It's just about getting in and every day checking, and there's a filters functionality there now. Are there any new members today? Oh, there are, and I've never met them through LinkedIn or Facebook. Let me reach out to them, because if they're here, that means they need to get to know me.
Beautiful, mate. Thank you so much for jumping on the show today. I use AA for my insurance. I hate filling forms and it drives me mad. I have no idea. I'm one of those people who go, yeah, I have that, whatever. And you guys just take all that stress away from me. You even tell me that, oh, by the way, you've paid for this and you're not using it anymore. Here's the when you mentioned that, I was like, what idiot would do that? Then I realized you were talking about me. So, so I really appreciate you and your business. You do, provide a great service. So if you're looking for any answers around insurance, obviously you can reach out to Polina directly. All the details are going to be in the description of this video. You can also reach out to myself if you would like an introduction to Polina. I'll also put in there the link to the networking group directory, so you can go on there, have a look and set up a profile. But thanks for coming on again, Polina. Thanks for the guests today. It's been a great show and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.